Hey there, I'm Harry Enten, and today we are running all the numbers on Israel's U.S. popularity problem. Israel is losing support here in the United States, even amongst Republicans. Take a look at this data. Take a look at this data amongst young Republicans. Look at this massive shift that we have had over just the last 4 years, the net favorability of Israel among Republicans under the age of 50. You go back to 2022, two thumbs up for Israel amongst young Republicans. But by 2025, look at this. Already a 30-point shift away, their net favorability down to -2. Today, look at this, minus 16 points. That's an over 40-point shift in just 1, 2, 3, 4 years' time away from Israel amongst young Republicans. But that's not the only part of the Republican base where Israel is struggling. How about amongst moderate or liberal Republicans? They make up about a third of the Republican base at this point in time. The net favorability of Israel with moderate liberal Republicans back in 2022, again, two thumbs up. You'll notice I do a lot of Siskel and Ebert references. I just really like them. At plus 26 points. Today, again, negative territory, -9 points. That's a 35-point shift in just 4 years' time, with moderate liberal Republicans shifting away from Israel. And this, to me, gives you a good indication of why one of the more ardent critics of Israel within the Republican Party is actually, at this point, favored to win a competitive primary. You may know him, Thomas Massie. He, of course, is the representative from Kentucky's 4th District. He has been opposed by Donald Trump. Donald Trump has endorsed his opponent. Pro-Israel voices are also opposed. Many of them have also opposed Thomas Massie. But at this point, look at this. His chance of being the Republican nominee, winning that Republican primary in Kentucky's 4th District, is actually more likely than not to occur. Look at this. According to the Kalshi prediction market at this point, a 71% chance. But here's the thing. Again, I'm building blocks here. It's not just on the right. It's not just amongst Republicans where Israel is losing support amongst the unexpected places. How about among younger men? Younger men who were a key part of Donald John Trump's coalition back in 2024. They have very much shifted away from Israel. Look at this. Net favorability of Israel among men under the age of 50. In 2022, not too bad, but not too hot to trot either at -3 points. By 2025, again, down we go, -22 points. That is a 19-point shift in just 3 years' time. But it gets even worse. Look at this for Israel. -47 points. That's a 44-point shift away from Israel on the net favorability amongst young men who, of course, shifted massively into the Republican column back in 2024. And they have been shifting away from Israel over the last 4 years. But here's the thing. You want to talk about unexpected? Perhaps no number I have seen is more unexpected than this one. Because when we talk about the Democratic base, right, and we talk about them being against Israel, that's been true amongst liberal and very liberal Democrats for a decent period of time. But now we're even seeing it among moderate and conservative Democrats. Because take a look at these numbers. I mean, this is a sea change. This is a sea change. Net favorability of Israel amongst non-liberal Democrats, that is those who identify as either moderate or conservative. Back in 2022, Israel was on the plus side of the ledger. I'll give it one thumbs up at +3 points. Look at this. By 2025, -30 points. That's a 33-point shift in just 3 years' time. You think that's a big shift? How about now? Look at this. Among moderate conservative Democrats, the net favor of Israel down into the Sea of Galilee at -55 points. That's a nearly 60-point switcheroo in just 4 years' time. Now, why are we seeing these shifts? Why are we seeing these shifts amongst Democrats, amongst Republicans, at least certain portions of the Republican electorate, and why are we seeing it among younger men who are a big part of Trump's coalition? It is because it is part of a larger sea change against Israel. I mean, just take a look at these overall numbers right now. The net favorability of Israel among all adults. In 2022, it was +13 points. I'll give that 2 thumbs up. Look at by 2025, -8 points. That's a 21-point switch in just 3 years. And now, the net favorability of Israel amongst all adults, -23 points. That's a 36-point change in just 4 years' time amongst all adults. Now, okay, that's part of the reason why that we're seeing these groups within these shifts, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. But it's more than that. How about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which of course has been taking center stage over the past few years here in America, especially after the October 7th attacks and then Israel's response to it. Take a look here. I mean, this is a change. This is a change. Who Americans sympathize more with, the Israelis or the Palestinians? Back in 2022, before the October 7th attacks, it was the Israelis by 28 points. That would even climb into the 40s, 50s, depending on which polling you looked at in terms of who Americans sympathize with, the margin very much on the side of Israel. But look at where we are now. In 2026, Americans sympathize more with the Palestinians by an 11-point margin. That is a shift of nearly 40 points in just 4 years' time. And when you compare it to 2023, after the October 7th attacks, we're talking about what, a 50, 60-point change? My goodness gracious. This is the best position that the Palestinians have ever been in the minds of the American public. The Palestinians making history in terms of who Americans sympathize more with. But it is not just the Israelis and the Palestinian conflict in which why we're seeing these shifts among all these different groups and overall as well. It is because of the man who right now is the prime minister, the longtime prime minister of Israel, who's been prime minister at least in parts all the way back to my childhood. I mean, I think he was the prime minister when I was like 8 or 9. That is how long. And while I look young, I'm not that young anymore. But take a look at Bibi Netanyahu. Look at his net favorability rating here in the United States. In early 2024, he was on the plus side of the ledger at plus 9 points. But look now, minus 23 points. Again, an over 30-point shift in the wrong direction if you are a fan of Bibi Netanyahu here in the United States. And among independents, we're talking about that his net favorability rating at this point is a minus 35 points in the average poll. He is about as popular as Donald Trump is here in the United States. And of course, Trump ain't too hot to trot, to borrow a phrase that I used earlier on. And here's the other thing, which is this is starting to have major electoral ramifications. Israel has become a 4-letter word in Democratic primaries. And one way you can see that is AIPAC, right? AIPAC, the lobbying group. Google searches for AIPAC in 2026, up like a rocket, up 363% versus last year, reached an all-time high last month. You often hear those on the left using AIPAC against their opponents if they have in fact taken money from AIPAC. I'm not expecting that to change anytime soon on the left. I think the question is going to be, if these young Republican numbers hold, and we see this right here, will AIPAC and Israel possibly become a boogeyman on the right as well? We're not really quite sure at this point, given how quickly these numbers have changed. Maybe they'll change back the other way in 4 years' time. But the bottom line is this. Views on Israel have shifted tremendously in a lot of unexpected places, not just on the left wing of the Democratic Party. All right, so this was me running all the numbers on Israel's U.S. popularity problem. If you have another topic that you want me to cover, leave a comment in the comment section, and we'll see if we'll do it next time around.